Welcome to 2024 WAEC Biology Practical Reviews, Part 1 by Oluwatosin Ijewime Ojo at Biology Clarified. We are going to look at the respiratory structure of fish and domestic fowl. We are going to focus on the gills and the lungs. We look at the adaptation, the characteristic features, and compare the both specimens. Why are we looking at this specimen? Because the both of them will be featured in this year's biology practical exam. Now, this is a specimen. This is how you are going to see the specimen, and it will be labeled A or B or C. Now, for the purpose of this video, we will call gill of fish specimen 1 and call lungs from domestic fowl specimen 2. Then the class of specimen 1 is Pisces because it is taken from fish, and fish belongs to the class Pisces. Then the class of specimen 2 is aves, which is also birds. Why? Because the lung is gotten from domestic fowl that belongs to class aves. The next is adaptation for function. What's the characteristics of gills and that of the lungs are the same because they fulfill the characteristic of a respiratory surface, which are moist or wet surface for dissolving gases, thin surface membrane for easy diffusion or exchange of gases, and they are highly richly supplied in bulk capillaries. The next is function and habitat. The function of gills, gaseous exchange in fish, that's function of gills, and the function of lungs in domestic fowl is also for gaseous exchange. Both of them carry out the function of gaseous exchange. Next is the diagram of gills. You can be asked to draw the diagram of fish or a diagram of any specimen, but for the purpose of this video, we are looking at the diagram of fish, of the gills of fish, and for every diagram required of you, you must start the title of the diagram by writing diagram of whatever you are told to draw. Next is adaptation of gills of fish for gas exchange in water. They have large surface area, which is provided by the gill filament part of the gills, and thin membrane. The gills have thin membrane, which allow it to be permeable to gases. Next is looking at the adaptation of lungs. Let me say at this junction that any question that require that you mention the adaptation of anything is asking you for the features that is present in that thing and the function of that feature. Here now, the lungs from a domestic fowl has thin membrane which allow it for easy diffusion of gases. It has moist surface area for gaseous exchange, dissolving of gases. It's richly supplied with blood vessels for transport of respiratory gases and so on. Next is comparing the two respiratory structure, gills and fish. One has a larger surface area while one has smaller. The lungs have smaller surface area compared to that of the gills, and the color of the gill of fish is adapted for efficient oxygen uptake from water, while the lung is from air. Now, the similarity between gill of fish and lungs of domestic, they both have thin surface membrane, they are both moist, they both have large surface area, and they are both richly supplied with blood capillaries. Here we will draw the curtain and meet the next part 2 series. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video for others. You never can tell other people who will need it for this year's biology practical. See you next time, sooner than you can imagine.